Esse aqui é o Museu Vapriki, conta a história aqui da Finlândia, a história de Tampere, onde eu vou encontrar o professor Juha. A gente vai conversar um pouco sobre a história aqui da Finlândia, a história também de Tampere. Nós estamos aqui no Vapriki Museu, né? A gente deu uma volta, não pode filmar lá dentro, a gente vai no café conversar um pouco sobre a educação finlandesa, aqui com o professor Juha, quem eu agradeço de antemão.
Schools should be, they are quite equal level wherever you live, even to rural areas, small villages, or capital area. The schools in basic education, from the grades 1st to 9, they are following the same curriculum. And it's up to teachers who are highly educated. They know what is the freedom.
In my opinion, equality is of course one of the Finland's secrets for your education. But it's not the only one. No, because you have a different way of education. I saw this when I stayed here in 2014. Students is more autonomous, like than in Brazil. You use a lot of active methodologies.
Active methods, exactly.
All the time.
Yeah.
And this is the difference.
Yeah.
If you see an education like Korea, it's very hard. Study. It's not something that students have pleasure to do.
Yeah. Sure.
He must to students because your parents say study. But here in Finland, no, it's so easy to study.
It's in fact, I have to say that the real winners don't compete. You know, if you're a real winner, you don't compete with each other.
Yeah.
And this competitive system, for example, in Far East, it has such a great competition, or big competition between the students, and they work for the grades.
I want to be the number one.
Yes, exactly. You get your place in the higher position, but here it is a bit different, and I call this education system. You call it, maybe you remember I have used this metaphor that I call it spray and pray pedagogy. That this memorizing school system, which is based on memorizing, it's about like a spray and pray. It means that if I'm teacher, and I walk into classroom and I have a can of knowledge, spray can, and I step in the classroom and start to spray something, and everybody is sitting still, and I spray, and after the lesson, when I have sprayed, emptied my can, I go to the teacher's room or to home, and I pray that at least some of the drops hit somebody's head. Because I don't know it, I have to ask in exams. I have to make some exams or assessments. But here it's different. We think that we activate the students to handle the knowledge and information by hands, hearts, heads, and even the like a holistic idea.
Yeah.
And it's also part of this, we call it science-based education system. And it started for decades ago. That we started to make some research. What are in fact the best ways to learn, in fact. And we recognize that, for example, you have to respect the breaks. You have to give enough time to reflect, to play, for free play, for example, the breaks where they can share the experiences to students and so on. It's not like a person running. You have to. Who is the fastest learner, but who is the most effective learner?
Yeah.
Students should be the protagonists, the main characters in the play called school education system. It's for them. It's not for teachers. It's not for curriculum. It's for those kids who are learning. But you are right, we are using this activating method because we know that they improve learning. It's not about teaching, it's about learning. And this is the educational decisions we have made when we, for example, reform our curriculum. Usually after every 10th year we have this kind of research-based curriculum processes.
Okay, but well, when you start this change in your education, of course, you did this to Finland. But in some moment, this outside Finland, and today the world looks to Finland and says Finland has something different in education. When this international famous of Finland starts after the PISA result.
Como o PISA funciona? Embora tenha sido idealizado pela Organização para a Cooperação e Desenvolvimento Econômico, sediada em Paris, França, o PISA é elaborado por especialistas em educação do mundo inteiro. Na verdade, desde seu início no ano 2000, cada uma das mais de 80 economias que já participaram do PISA contribuiu com alguns dos seus mais brilhantes especialistas para a criação de uma avaliação que possa ser aplicada em todo o mundo. O PISA busca averiguar se estudantes conseguem pôr em prática o conhecimento adquirido na escola. Ele abrange as áreas de ciências, leitura, matemática e alguns tópicos inovadores, como a resolução colaborativa de problemas ou o letramento financeiro. A participação no PISA é voluntária. Se um país não está preparado para participar de uma avaliação em larga escala como essa, regiões desse país podem participar de forma autônoma. Sendo o país aprovado pelo Conselho de Administração do PISA, determinadas escolas são selecionadas com base em critérios rigorosos para representar todos os estudantes de 15 anos de idade daquele país. Os participantes do PISA são selecionados aleatoriamente dentre todos os estudantes de 15 anos de idade, matriculados no 7º ano do ensino fundamental ou em ano superior nas escolas selecionadas para participar do programa. Eles fazem o teste na mesma língua utilizada em suas aulas regulares. Não é exigido dos estudantes que se recordem de datas e nomes que por acaso tenham memorizado. Em vez disso, espera-se dos estudantes que interpretem textos, resolvam problemas matemáticos ou expliquem fenômenos cientificamente, fazendo uso de seus conhecimentos e capacidades de raciocínio. Os estudantes não recebem um relatório de desempenho individual na avaliação do PISA, mas seus resultados são contabilizados na média de proficiência nacional. O PISA não se resume ao ranqueamento dos países participantes. Seu objetivo é revelar se os sistemas educacionais estão se tornando mais ou menos eficientes em preparar os estudantes para continuar seus estudos ou para o mercado de trabalho. O programa avalia se estudantes de 15 anos estão adquirindo as habilidades sociais e emocionais necessárias para que sejam bem-sucedidos, como, por exemplo, a habilidade de se comunicar e de trabalhar coletivamente. E também tem o objetivo de traduzir os resultados da avaliação em milhares de fragmentos de dados, que, quando reunidos, revelam a representação de um sistema educacional eficiente. Ao fim, essa representação reflete aqueles sistemas em que todos os estudantes, e não só os mais privilegiados, recebem as melhores oportunidades de aprender, bem como o melhor suporte para alcançar o seu potencial. O objetivo do PISA não é somente demonstrar como esses sistemas são construídos, mas incentivar os países a aprender com as experiências um dos outros na construção de sistemas educacionais mais justos e inclusivos.
Maybe we knew that our education system was quite well, because we get quite well educated people to our workplaces.
Yeah.
And we reckon, of course, we know it, but it was a surprise for us as a teachers, as a decision makers. It was a surprise when we get this first place in PISA, and we were number one. And because Finnish people are very suspicious, maybe you have recognized. And we said, they have to be something wrong with these results.
How?
Yes.
Finland is the number one. It's
Yes,
small country.
yes, and we didn't believe in sometimes we didn't believe these results, but because we don't use so much money for the education.
Yeah.
We don't use the effort is much higher than those countries who put a lot of
More
money.
effective.
Yes.
Less money.
Yes, exactly.
Less
hours.
Less hard to
Yes, exactly.
work. something simple.
Yes, keep it simple. Keep it simple, and it means like for example, Pasi Salberg, who is going around the world telling about these miracles of Finnish education. He's using the words less is more, less homeworks, less lessons, more freedom, more learning, and more activity. About 25%, one quarter, the lessons they have in basic education are some kind of activities like physical education, handcrafts, music, arts. It's about 25%, and you have recognized. I think you have visited in schools. You have recognized that after 45 minutes, always after 45 minutes, they have 15 minutes break, recess, time for free playing, gaming, going outside, even if it's snowing and cold outside. Kids are about 2-3 times or 4 times per day. They were 15 minutes outside, and it's part of the learning process.
Yeah.
Your brains and your free play.
Yeah, and this makes the study be more fun.
Yes, learning is fun.
Yeah.
Learning is fun. That's something.
But not in Brazil. In Brazil, learning is like
it's like punishment.
Yeah, something like this.
But you know, I usually ask from the teachers in the teacher training that do you remember the first thing you have learned in your life? And the first thing what I have learned in my life, you can remember. And some of them think, okay, I remember how to ride my bike. I remember how to swim. How does it felt?
Yeah.
Oh, it felt so relieving. You know, it felt so good.
Yeah.
I had lots of fun because I used to be a walker. Now I'm a biker. I used to be swimmer. Now I'm a swimmer. It's changed your rank in your own feelings and gives you some kind of dignity that I'm worth of something. But if you are just trying to memorize, what does the school tell you? That you don't know enough. But if you think about the competencies you are collecting in the school, it means that okay, I'm worth of something. I'm a person, not just somebody.
Yeah. You need to have a critical thinking, not only repeat the words that the teacher says. I was very good in repeating the words.
Repeating, exactly.
Until now I remember a name, a muscle in the neck, called the sternocleidomastoidal. I don't know why, but until now I remember.
When I was at school in Finland in 70s, we used a lot of memorizing. And memorizing, there's nothing wrong. If you think about, for example, multiple counting.
Yeah.
You have to memorize something,
but
you have to also understand that they are tools. I can use these memorizing things to something. They are not just for tests, not just for the assessment. It's for use.
For your life.
Exactly, for life. That it's much easier to know how many biscuits I have to buy if I have 5 visitors to my home. I can, and things like that. But how to make it concrete and how to make the meanings for the things you are learning. That making meanings is one of the the key points in education. Not only for those who are reading or like first or 2 graders, but also in adult education, also in universities, also in higher education. That if you know why you are doing things, you get motivated. If you don't have any idea why, what for I'm using this, what for I'm trying to memorize these stupid sentences, and the teacher said, because I can ask you in the test.
Yeah.
It so motivates you.
Yes. I had used not some, but a lot of things that I learned here in Finland in my class. Mm-hmm. And actually, I see the difference between my students today and after I start to use the activity methodology. Yeah. It's completely different.
You can see, and if they feel good, if you feel good,
they are happy studying with me.
Sure. And you cannot stop learning.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most disturbing people in the class is teacher.
Probably.
Who is disturbing the learning process. And learning happens, and teacher recognize that, okay, now they are learning, they are doing things together, like active learning methods, and teacher feels like, I have nothing to do in the classroom. Sometimes he starts teaching without any purpose, because I want to say something, I want to be part of the process. To be a teacher means that you have to teach, even though it's not necessary.
Yeah.
And you disturb the learning, which is just happening. And you have to withdraw as a teacher away if you see that learning happening, because it's like riding by bicycle. If you as a father is always giving advices to your son that, okay, don't ride there, don't do that, and usually errors, what is wrong, don't do this, don't do that. He or she lost the interest for biking.
Yeah.
But if you just take, this is a bike, try what you
Go,
can do with it,
try.
and go
Go.
and try. If you fall down, let's stand up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
something like this.
That's how the education happens. You are supporting the learning, not guiding it all the time like a boss and slave.
In Amazon rainforest, there is something like this in small cities, of course, not in Manaus. When the father will teach your child to swim in the river, do you know how they swim? We call kurumi.
Yeah.
A small child.
Yeah.
The boy goes to the river.
Yes. Okay.
And wait.
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 Oh yeah. Oh,
If
yeah.
it's fine, okay.
Yeah.
If not fine, okay, I will go there.
Exactly. If you need help, I will help.
Yeah.
I don't let you be there. I don't
Yeah.
let you drown. But I'm here for you, and I'm not forcing you to.
And it works.
And it works. Sometimes it works like that, but you cannot push them away. But you have to stand by and let them learn, but not force them to memorize or like I said, repeat and repeat.
So then, actually, Finland is exporting this way of Finnish education.
Mostly, yes.
I saw in global team that there are teachers from China, from Singapore, from Brazil, from Portugal here to study Finland.
Yes. There's lots of people abroad who comes to Finland to see, for example, how it happens. Sometimes they are just study tours who are spending here 1 week and take a look, and it's not so effective. And you cannot. And the other thing is just somebody think that okay, you can copy Finnish system and bring it to somewhere. No, it's just work. But you can adapt something, like you said, activating methods.
Yeah.
Just take something which is working here, because education is always tied on cultural.
Yeah.
Culture. And in Finland, for example, like you have recognized, we call our culture trust culture.
Yeah.
It's based on
Very
trust. And it's based on trust, but you cannot, if you want to make this...
What's different in Brazil?
Sure. But if you want to create similar education system than in Finland, you have to start with society. So you have to start to create a trust society. Or maybe you can start from the classroom, and teachers are the change agents. But they are starting to build a trust inside the classes.
Yeah, it's
and then the schools,
micro society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the micro society, and then the school
And
level.
it works.
It works.
I did this with my class.
Exactly.
And some students, they were very surprised because the different way of studying.
And they are the change agents. When they maybe graduated as a teacher.
A student said to me, "Teacher, you believe in nice?"
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you.
Yeah.
But it's not normal to students.
Okay.
Usually in Brazil, the teacher is the captain.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
And students do not participate effectively in the
And
the learning process.
If you feel that you are a slave, you start to resist your master. You usually start to not only make, but at least think the revolution. But what to do? And when I see this teacher in a dark alley,
I have a curiosity about your Finnish education system and your values in Finland. As you said, Finland is a very trusted country. People is very trusted. And in my opinion, you have so special values. Trust, don't lie, try to do your best, always a thing like called sisu.
Yes, sisu.
So my question is, these values exist before we start to change the education, or change the education starts to make more strong these values?
I think they went like hand in hand. But we have, of course, part of this Winter War miracle, for example, was like a phenomenon of sisu, like stamina or gutch, or however you say it. But it's because that you never give up. And even before that, after we have had the Civil War, the bloody Civil War, 1918, after that we start to build a trust culture that even those former enemies should create the new society called like independent Finland. They have to make a
Work together,
and they have to build the society together. And at the same time, they start to create this equality-based education system. That, like Barack Obama said 2 years ago when he visited in Finland, that it's a special country where even the poorest kids can have the world-class education. Its values are something like you said, responsibility. That I'm responsible for my own actions, and it started also in before Second World War. The trust is built with those hard situations, and after that, when we really relieved of the war, that okay, we have to rebuild the society. It started with the trust. And we recognize that, okay, we have so much poverty. It means that if you want to rise up, we need to educate the kids. And it's about equality. Everybody should have equal opportunities, no matter of your background. And the third value has something to do with, like I said, this honesty. That if you promise something, you will do it and you keep your promises. Maybe cooperation is nowadays.
Okay, but let me ask you about the future. Today, Finland, of course, has a special conditions in education. This year or last year, I don't know, you are chosen as the first one in the world in the level of happiness.
Yes, sure. Yes, it's also something Finnish people are, like I said, we are so suspicious of all these rankings. But it's because of the solidity. It's again about the security of the society.
Yeah, security.
You feel you don't have to be cheers up all the time.
Yeah, no.
Like usually the Brazilian happiness is like a samba. Why you are so happy? Because my life situation is okay. I don't have I have enough incomes. I pay a lot of taxes, but I get payback from the government.
Yeah.
I have free health care. I have free education for my children or my grandchildren, whatever you have. So I have security. You can leave your wallet at the restaurant table and you will get it back after 2 hours. It happens to me many times.
But in your opinion, what's the future of Finnish education? Maybe improve a little bit more, or maybe try to export your Finnish way of education to the world, like to present.
I think, in my opinion, the movement is a bit similar all over. It's the education systems all over the world. How many countries I have been, and we have had this discussion about education systems. But the movement is a bit similar. It's getting more and more competence-based instead of subject-based. More multidisciplinary work, like phenomenon-based education, problem-based project learning. In fact, this kind of PBLs, and it's similar all over. But I think in Finland we are looking a bit like beyond the PISA results. That we don't work for the PISA results anymore, because that's my opinion only. But I have a feeling that we have seen that we can reach the best results like old ways. But now we have to take a look for the, one step ahead. That what will be the next step? And now we are bending a bit like down the PISA results, maybe even 4th or 5th nowadays. But it's because we are concentrating for the next step. and maybe the next indicators are different, more like competence-based. And I think this kind of competence-based instead of subject-based education system will be like the next step all over the world. And it's happening already, if you get the idea. And more cooperation with the companies, real-life situations, and making like world as a school. You can use this whole infrastructure more and more, infrastructure of knowledge like internet and so on. It's more like unique education system, also in Finland.
Yeah.
And now because of this COVID-19, we recognize that you can change your teaching and learning online quite easily. But it doesn't mean that you have to get rid of from this authentic relationships. Relationships. I mean,
the partnerships.
Yes, the partnerships between teacher and student. We need this active learning methods, which are based on, being together, like grouping.
Maybe to be an educator or a coach, not a
coaching,
teacher.
Yeah, exactly. This coaching teachership and more like educators, like you said.
Yeah.
Coaching educators instead of subject-based teachers.
I don't like the word coach because in Brazil there is another means to coach.
Yeah. It's coaching.
But I prefer mentoring.
Or mentor, facilitator. This kind of things. Yes, we have a bit same in Finland that valmentaja, coach, usually means like a sport coach or business coach or business coach. Yes, but this is I think the future is something. It has something to do like this world as school philosophy. I think that learning happens everywhere. It's not only like a privilege of the schools or the schools as a buildings. It's more like.
Okay, thank you very much. If you want to say some final word.
I have met a lot of Brazilian teachers during 5-6 last years, and I have met only enthusiastic and in many ways ready Brazilian teachers. And you have one of my favorite author or researchers, Paulo Freire, in Brazil. And if you just follow his footsteps, it's okay.
You use Paulo Freire a lot here.
I use a lot. Yes, he's very famous in Finland and it's very used. And one of the cornerstones in our education system is this kind of democratic education.
Yeah. We are needing this in Brazil.
but I think you are, as individuals, many of you, including you, of course, are in the right way, in my opinion. That's my final word.
Thank you very much.